warm welcome to all our listeners tuning in to the Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Maheen, and we're quite thrilled to guide you through another episode packed with insights and inspiration. Today, we're spotlighting the crucial role of small businesses in our economy and the importance of robust payroll education to ensure their prosperity and compliance. We'll also dive into the latest findings from a business survey shedding light on contemporary challenges and triumphs in the payroll domain. Joining us today is Steven Van Alstine, the VP of Professional Standards and Education at the National Payroll Institute. With a remarkable tenure of nearly 3 decades at the Institute, Steven has been a pivotal figure in advancing payroll standards in Canada, contributing significantly to education, government relations, and knowledge management. His efforts helped shape the payroll profession into a recognized pillar of the Canadian economy. Let's dive into his experience and insights. Good morning, Steven, and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. How are you today?
Doing really well, Maheen, and it's a real pleasure to be here. Look forward to talking to you about payroll education, and how small business plays an integral role in delivering payroll to their employees.
Absolutely. And it's an honor to have you join us, especially to shed light on the intricate world of payroll education and the findings from the recent small business survey. So we're quite eager to hear your perspectives. Before we dive deep with Steven, let's take a moment to really appreciate the role each of us plays in the ecosystem of small businesses. Whether you're a business owner, employee, or consumer, your actions contribute to the vibrancy and resilience of our communities. Today's conversation isn't just about understanding payroll, it's about recognizing our part in fostering a thriving, supportive environment for all businesses. Keep this in mind as we navigate through the intricacies of payroll management and its impact on our local economies. Now, to begin things, let's really understand the payroll challenges and solutions. Stephen, payroll management stands as a foundational aspect of running a successful business, yet it's fraught with challenges and complexities, particularly for small businesses. Could you provide an overview of the most pressing payroll challenges that small businesses in Canada currently face, as highlighted in the recent survey?
Well, it's a great question, Maheen, and it's a big challenge, I think, for small business because small business, they don't have the resources often that larger businesses have. They face the same complexities with regard to legislation, with regard to how they deliver payroll, looking for the best technologies to utilize to help them to do that. But at the end of the day, their goal is the same as every other organization's goal, and that is to deliver accurate and timely payroll because it's important to keep their employee base engaged. And so I think it's trying to find that balance between being able to provide accurate and timely payroll while still being able to focus on the business. And small businesses and medium-sized businesses are more challenged with that just because of the magnitude of the tasks that they have to do. And payroll is one of those necessary and important elements. And so they need to find what it is that they're going to do to be able to deliver that.
Absolutely. And to add to this a bit more and build onto this a bit more, what solutions or strategies does the National Payroll Institute recommend to small businesses for overcoming these challenges?
So we at the Institute, we've been an organization, an effective formal organization for over 40 years. And during that time, we've really wanted to highlight and spotlight the role that payroll plays within organizations. We feel it's an integral part of business. It's an integral part of how businesses operate. And I think with regard to small business particularly, and what we do as an institute is we highlight the ability of organizations to get the information that they need, to be compliant, to provide them with those tools, and to do it in, we're a not-for-profit organization, but to do it in a cost-effective way. So whether an organization is large or whether an organization is small, our membership is positioned in such a way that we want to make it as accessible as possible. Whether individuals are looking to find out about newly changed legislation and the impact it's having on the business, whether they want to come and take a professional development seminar or webinar on a particular topic, or whether they want to go through a full-blown designation, organizations can sort of determine how they can work with us to advantage the best that they can in order for us to be an effective resource for them.
Right. Now, your
Yeah.
insights really offer a roadmap for businesses that are looking
That's a great way to position it, Maheen. A
exactly a
roadmap.
roadmap
Yeah.
to navigate the complexities and into really navigating this critical aspect of their businesses efficiently, I would say. But let's kind of discuss the impact of payroll education. I mean,
Yeah.
in the realm of small business management, payroll education emerges as a crucial
Mm.
tool for ensuring
Yes.
compliance, efficiency, and financial health. Stephen, how does the National Payroll Institute's educational programming empower small business owners and their payroll professionals to excel in their roles?
So we've been offering payroll, formerly payroll certifications, now payroll designations for decades. As I say, we've been in an organization for close to 50 years. Our certifications and now designations are becoming more and more recognized. Through the research that we did with Angus Reid, some small businesses identified that they don't have the capability of having a dedicated payroll role. So, what do they do? Do they utilize a payroll software or service provider to support them and get knowledgeable individuals, designated individuals that can help support them deliver? Do they perhaps some small businesses are able to focus on a dedicated, designated payroll professional? And we found that the responses to our survey showed that there are small businesses, 33%, that actually have a designated professional on staff. But what we also find with small business is that the Canadian professional bookkeepers, that they often bookkeepers will have those competencies that can support small business through corporate tax filing, through payroll tax filing, through HST filing, all of those aspects. And we're finding more and more that bookkeepers are looking to specialize and become more educated within payroll. The great thing is our organization is there. We're the only designating body in Canada that supports education for payroll. That they can come to us and access that information with, again, whatever needs they have, whether it be just a simple professional development seminar, a webinar, or the formal education programs.
We love the emphasis on the value of payroll education that can help small businesses really foster success and sustainability of their own business,
Exactly.
which is amazing. But with so much advancing in the payroll standards in Canada, let's learn how to cope up with them, right?
Mhm.
The establishment of Payroll Standards Canada really marks a significant milestone in the professionalization and recognition of the payroll industry. Stephen, can you tell us about the genesis of creating Payroll Standards Canada and its objectives for the payroll professionals across the country?
I would love to. We were excited to launch Payroll Standards Canada in early 2023. As you identified, I've been with the Institute, formerly the Canadian Payroll Association, for close to 30 years. And in that time, one of my goals, and I think what has kept me at the organization, is the goal of advancing the profession. It had often been seen as sort of a back office, very transactional, push a button kind of role. And when you start unfolding it, there's a lot of complexity, a lot of legislation, a lot of regulation. Organizations can find themselves in, to have issues with compliance, with fines and potential penalties that they can get from not only the Canada Revenue Agency,
Mm-hmm.
but Ontario Ministry of Finance, other provincial bodies, workers' compensation, WSIB. We've highlighted the integral role that payroll plays within organizations. And through that time, we want to advance the professional nature of payroll. And we felt strongly that instituting an actual professional body that could be the policy setters around what is required with the designations, what is required from an ethics perspective, setting a code of professional conduct, because most professional bodies have codes of conduct that you have to adhere to. So we do have a professional code of conduct committee, and fortunately or unfortunately, that committee is there to ensure that people are following those requirements, those code requirements. And we do have cases that get brought forward
Mm-hmm.
to us where individuals may not be perceived to be following that code correctly. So we've got a formal committee that actually adjudicates has hearings. Again, it's really about raising the profile, the professional profile of payroll. So we're excited to have Payroll Standards Canada in place. We're having an upcoming meeting within the next month or so. And some of the topics that we're going to be dealing with are looking at our designations
Mhm.
and making sure that the curriculum is meeting the needs of business nowadays. So do we need to change that? You can't just rest on your laurels.
Right.
Looking at our discipline process and making sure that it's meeting the needs of our members and the needs of business who rely on payroll professionals adhering and operating in a significant manner. Continuing professional education, making sure that individuals, again, aren't just getting designated and standing on their laurels, but continually advancing their knowledge and skills. There's a significant volume of payroll legislation across the country. Payroll professionals have to adhere to well over 200 legislative and regulatory compliance
Mhm.
requirements. So it's important to keep up to date. So
Right.
continuing professional education is very critical. So again, Payroll Standards Canada represents all of the requirements that kind of administer the profession.
That's amazing to hear and learn about. Now, how will this new self-governing body really impact small businesses and their payroll practices?
Well, I think it's going to impact all business, but particularly making sure that we're looking to not only large business, not only the payroll software and service provider industry, but small business as well. So making sure that the payroll professional has the tools, the requirements, the knowledge that is set by that standards body that's going to effectively support small business in being able to make sure that they're meeting those needs.
Mhm.
Our research said that 99% of small business owners felt that paying employees accurately and on time was critical. 99%. So accurate is the key there, making sure that practitioners have that opportunity to have that information, that interplay, to make sure that they're complying correctly and accurately with how they deliver their payroll.
Hmm. Now, the
Yeah.
creation of the Payroll Standards Canada, I mean, it really represents a leap forward to ensuring that there we have excellence and uniformity within the payroll practices, which benefits again both the employers plus the employees. Uh,
That's a great way of summarizing it,
right,
Maheen.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing. As we stand on the brink of discussing the latest in payroll technology, remember every step towards innovation is also a step forward towards greater efficiency and security for our businesses. Technology, with all its advancements, serves as a bridge to not just ease with the burdens of payroll management, but also open new avenues for growth and compliance. As Steven shares these insights, think about how these tools can be a catalyst for change in your own business operations. Let's kind of also tie technological advancements that are continually
Yes.
reshaping the payroll
Yeah.
landscape. Steven, what emerging tools or technologies should small businesses be aware of to streamline their payroll processes?
So first of all, a lot of the technology space, the technology partners within payroll are not just members of our organization, but are really partners, strategic partners with us. And that can be, organizations, large payroll service providers, to the small software providers that small businesses would tend to use, or that those bookkeepers that help support small businesses would be utilizing. So they obviously have an important role to play in making sure that legislation that changes. For example, this year we've had a second tier of Canada Pension Plan deductions that are going to be taking place. So making sure that that legislation gets integrated within the technology and delivered to clients right across the country,
Hmm.
anybody that's doing Canadian payroll. So I think it's, that connection between us as an institute and those organizations that are delivering the technology, making sure that it is, again, accurately calculating individual statutory withholdings, making sure that those requirements for government are being met. But not only that, one of the things that when I have conversations with those representatives from those technology space organizations has identified is that organizations aren't taking advantage of the engines that some of
Mhm.
this technology can provide, whether it be software or whether it be utilizing service providers. So I think it's really important. And one of the things that we want to work with these organizations to do is to highlight to business the tools and engines that are available to them to be able to leverage payroll.
Right.
So it's again, as we look at things like artificial intelligence, for example, and the ability to capitalize on artificial intelligence to deliver the more, rudimentary and mundane tasks of input into the payroll system and input out, how they can leverage the data that's within the system. So for small business particularly, let's say if you're a small business that's in manufacturing, how can you look at labor, the use of labor, and within the system, evaluate when's the best time to be utilizing labor, reducing overtime costs, those kinds of things. So really taking the data analytics aspect
Mhm.
of payroll and technology and really being able to operationalize that more effectively and usefully for the small business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, your insights into the intersection of technology and payroll, it really offers a glimpse into the future payroll management, really
Yes.
creating opportunities for innovation and efficiency, which is great. As we prepare to explore the future of payroll with Steven, let's reflect on the journey of adaptation and growth. The landscape of business, especially payroll, it's ever evolving, and the insight we're about to uncover are more than just predictions. They're potential strategies for future proofing our businesses. Embracing this part of discussion as an opportunity to think forward, plan ahead, and stay ahead in the game. Let's gear up to proactive, not just reactive, in the face of emerging payroll trends. But let's kind of discuss the future trends in payroll, right?
Mhm.
Payroll management, I would say.
Yeah.
Stephen, looking ahead, the landscape of payroll management is bound to evolve,
Yes.
driven by both technology and regulatory changes. What major trends do you foresee impacting payroll practices for small businesses, and how can they prepare to meet these future
Yeah.
challenges?
Yeah. It's a great question, Maheen. And I think what we want to look at is we've recently completed a payroll competency framework. And the core elements of that framework obviously are, to deliver payroll, to ensure compliance. We've talked about the importance of compliance. Being customer focused, and our customers in payroll are employees.
Right.
They're our major customer. The other element is strategically partnering with business strategically. So looking at how payroll can work with elements of business, whether it's human resources, whether it's finance, whether it's accounting. So I think the payroll professional of the future is going to have to, again, look at things like artificial intelligence, how that's changing the dynamic of how we actually deliver payroll and being more strategic. So, our designation programs are twofold. We've got
Mhm.
our payroll compliance professional, we've got our payroll leadership professional, and the leadership professional is more individuals at a managerial level. But we've changed how we define management to
Mhm.
really be leadership. And I think what that means is that if you're a small business, you might not have a payroll manager on staff.
Right.
You might have somebody that's responsible for payroll, but in essence, they're leading payroll. And what does leading payroll mean? It means, and you talked about that nexus between foundational payroll knowledge and technology.
Mhm.
So being able to ensure that effective interplay in how it's impacting business and how, again, we all know that, all it would take would be for an issue to happen with payroll for employees to have less confidence in their business or not be as supportive of their organization if they feel that they're not being paid accurately and on time, because that's part of engagement, right? Employee engagement. So again, I think making sure that the organization is confident in what they're doing and what they're
Mhm.
delivering and how they can utilize some of those strategic aspects to effectively deliver payroll.
Right. Now, to add on to this a bit more, how does National Payroll Institute really plan to evolve its offerings to meet the changing needs of the payroll profession and small businesses?
Yeah, again, I mentioned that payroll competency framework, which we recently worked on. I think the mark of any profession is establishing what are the competencies that are required to be effective in the role, so that individuals can identify where the gaps might be and how they can work to fill those gaps. So we are launching that framework within the next month.
Mhm.
I think it is going to help support those that are in payroll to understand where their gaps might be and where their career growth can come from. We did some significant research back in 2022 with PricewaterhouseCoopers on education and the future of payroll. And while a lot of individuals in payroll are happy with their role, they feel that it is a profession. There were 20% that really didn't know where their opportunities were going. So I think
Mhm.
we wanted to create this framework, this competency framework, to help people sort of on a path within the profession and to continue to grow themselves. And again, I think it just speaks to where we've come as a profession. We're not as established as the accounting profession. We're not
Right.
as established as the HR profession, but we're taking the steps as a self-regulated profession to work toward that. And I think the competency framework is going to be sort of a nice finishing touch to modeling that self-regulated profession and sort of giving individuals an opportunity to see where they see themselves in the future of payroll.
No, your perspectives on future payroll trends and institutes such a proactive approach really offers small businesses with a glimpse or a vision on how to future-proof their payroll services, which is amazing, Stephen. But as we near the conclusion of today's enlightening conversation with you, could you share one final piece of advice for small business owners that are striving to navigate the complexities of payroll management in today's fast evolving business landscape?
I would just simply say, do not underestimate the importance of payroll. 99% of small businesses have indicated that accurate and on time payroll is critical. And I think it is critical to employee engagement. Don't underestimate it. Make sure that you leverage those resources that can effectively help you to deliver, whether it's working with a bookkeeper who is commonly tied into our organization, whether it's working with a designated professional who obviously is very connected with our organization. Just make sure that compliance is paramount, keeping up to date with legislation is paramount, and accurate and timely payroll is the important necessary result at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining us today and sharing a wealth of knowledge into the world of payroll, the standards, and the evolving needs of small businesses. I mean, your insights would really put the focus on how critical it is to get the payroll in check, in health, to make sure that your business is healthy and it's successful. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mahim.
And that was the end of our discussion with Steven Van Alstine. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode has armed you with valuable knowledge to enhance your payroll practices and contribute to your business's growth and compliance. A special thank you to our partners as well: exclusive banking partner RBC, shipping partner UPS, accounting software partner Xero, and email partner Constant Contact. Their support has been very instrumental in bringing these critical conversations to life. Remember, staying informed and proactive in your payroll practices is the key to ensuring the health and compliance of your business. So don't forget to subscribe to the Canadian SME Small Business Magazine at canadiansme.ca for more insights and resources tailored to your small business needs.